spectacle. 3 days of inspiration, music, and power.
Hi there, good morning to you. Welcome to Newsroom. I am Mohammed. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, government imposes curfew on residents of Binduri and its environs, banning the use of motorbikes following the killing of 2 police officers. Also, PURC justifies 14.75% increase in electricity tariff, says it is to help defray energy sector debt. Ahead in business, Minerals Commission rejects lease extension, says Ghana deserves better in extractive sector. And later on the international front, at least 50 people dead in violent attacks in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We have details of these and many others all in this 60 minutes bells. Do stay tuned in. Hello again. Now, pressure is mounting on the government to find lasting solutions to address the ongoing conflict in Boku and its spillover into other communities. This follows the fatal shooting of 2 police officers at Paramia, a community near Binduri in the Upper East region. The tragic incident happened yesterday when the officers, who were in plain clothing, were ambushed while riding a private motorbike from Bongo to Binduri. An unidentified man was also killed at Binduri in the Upper East region, and his body burnt together with a motorcycle he is believed to have been riding. It is, however, unclear who the culprits of the attacks are at the moment, but the killing is most likely linked to the ongoing chieftaincy conflict in Boku. Following that, the government announced the imposition of a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. curfew on residents of Binduri and its environs with immediate effect. In a missive signed by Minister for the Interior, Mohammed Mubarak, resident of Binduri or you have businesses there, you know that from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. there's a curfew. Now there's a ban on arms, offensive weapons, and men wearing smock. If you're a man who commutes around Binduri and its environs, you are not allowed to wear smock. And then motorbikes, tricycles, aboboya, you will not be allowed to ride those in that particular area. If you are found culpable or if you flout these directives, you will be arrested and prosecuted. Let's engage Kasim Atongo Idrisu. Kasim, thank you very much for joining me. Good morning to, I don't know whether to say it's a good morning, but kindly give me the update of the situation in Boku, Binduri and its environs.
All right, so good morning. Currently, Boku, we can say Boku, there is calm in Boku as we are speaking. I speak to you now. But Binduri is where the tension is currently, because Binduri is where they banned motor riding, bicycle riding, and then other meetings like Aboboya. You know, for Boko itself, it's only motor riding that they banned from that area, and then the smoke quarries. But Binduri issue has to do with no tricycle movement, no yellow movement, and no any other thing that can help you to move faster, except car. Now, this morning, when we engaged some of the community guys within the area, especially those who are driving this yellow, they expressed concerns that this is going to bring down government business totally because it would affect government business. Some of them claim that most of the government officials, those who doesn't have a means of transport to their work site, use this yellow and then Aboboya to their workplace. Once now that there's a case or there's a ban on it, it will affect them. So this is the current situation here in the Binduri area.
Do we know the updates on the situation that happened in Binduri? Any arrests so far?
Yes. So far, I can confirm to you that we don't have any information about any arrest. But we can confirm to you that yesterday, about 6 people lost their lives in Binduri, including 2 alleged police officers. And then the other personnel...
Did you say 5 people?
6.
6 people. Okay, so
yes,
now we know that 4 more people have died aside the police officers.
Aside the police officers.
Okay.
One was burned with his motorbike, and the other one was shot in the a bus that was loaded from Baswa moving towards going to Kumasi. Was shot around Nangode, and the body was brought back to Binduri for burial. And the other 2 was also killed in the different places. So Binduri, as we speak now, there's a serious tension. With the military are here in their numbers, moving up and down. And you know, the town is very wide. The community, the is very wide. So the security are moving up and down to make sure it will not continue like what we saw yesterday or what we've heard yesterday. So currently, we haven't heard any gunshot this afternoon, but there's serious tension in town. Movements are not normal like it used to be.
But, I mean, before now, Binduri was not known for these violent attacks. I mean, it was a transit point for those who feared the attacks in Boko up until the death of the soldier and other violent attacks. What happened? What do we know has accounted for this recent attacks?
All right. So, you know, Binduri, we have some few Mamprises living in Binduri. And because they were not associating themselves to the Boko conflict, there was peace in the area. So some attack last year, some attack was made, and then they attempted to attack some people. So the guys within the area believe that those Mamprises in Binduri here are the people that carry on these attacks, or they are the people accommodating these criminals in their homes to allow them to take or to carry out these attacks. So the people in Binduri, the Kusasis, started attacking the Mamprises within the area, burning their houses, killing them. That triggered this whole thing. And recently, just 4 days ago, Chief of Punyambiri was attacked at his palace. The chief and all other people, currently they are in the regional health center receiving treatment. So this also triggered the guys to go rampant, attacking people, burning, and then to extent of killing these 2 alleged police officers.
Atungo, thank you very much. We'll leave it here for now. But we'll come back to you when you have more on this unfortunate situation in Binduri. There you have it. The death toll has risen to 6. We are learning that 3 more people have been killed. Earlier we reported that 3 people, including 2 police officers. Now the death toll has risen to 6. Now police officers have expressed frustration at the current situation in the area. Have a listen to a secret recording of some officers stationed there.
Everyone here is worried. Most of the police officers stationed here are not fully fledged. Some have been in the service 1 year and others 2 years. There are officers who are even on probation. You have brought us here to maintain peace and order, but look at what is happening. Initially, we were told the situation in Pusiga is better, but there was exchange of gunshots between us and the indigenes for over 4 hours the very first day we got here. This led to one of our colleagues sustaining a hand injury. We thought we were coming for peacekeeping, but this is outright war. We are officially at war. As it turns out, the people are rather policing us. We can't even step outside without being shot at. Why? Are we the police personnel not humans with families?
Well, that was a secret recording. The police questioning whether they are also not humans. Some police personnel were stationed there questioning whether or not they are also not humans. Let's engage a security analyst and a former member of parliament for Manshia, Collins Owusu Amankwa. Thank you very much for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my dear.
I trust you're
Many thanks for this.
You're welcome. Now, you were in Parliament, and even when you were in Parliament, this situation was still raging. You've left Parliament, and we're still dealing with the issue of Boko. What's your take?
Very well. Many thanks for the opportunity afforded me to add my voice to the ongoing conflict in Boko and its environs. Honestly, where the conflict has got into, we must be frontal to unravel hidden truth as far as this very protracted conflict is concerned. And Benis, come to think of, how can both the Kusasit and Mamprusis lay claim to allodial ownership of Boko? How can both tribes claim to be the indigenous inhabitants and owners of the same piece of land? I mean, how? Where are our historians? We are behaving as if it was a marathon race where both tribes were bracketed. And I can't get it. Look, truth must be told. And I expect the current government to stay neutral and avoid any form of biases towards any of the factions in Boko. It's very pathetic. Very, very pathetic. People are being killed day in and day out. People are being maimed. Then you ask yourself, what do they seek for? Look, it is time to speak the truth. We must look into their faces and tell them that enough is enough. Enough of ego massaging in this very protracted chieftaincy conflict.
See, have we reached that point?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, the name is Lily, by the way. But I was asking, have we reached the stage where we call for a state of emergency?
Yes, I think to the best of my knowledge, you can't just attack Inspector General of Police. You can't just attack to kill police officers who are there to de-escalate tensions and also to make sure that we find lasting resolution to this canker. So I am shocked. And based on this, I think I agree with the government to place ban and also curfew on the area, especially Binduri, for the killings.
I was asking whether it is time to declare a state of emergency.
Oh, very well. I think we haven't gotten to that stage.
Because it appears the military is unable, it appears, I'm choosing my words advisedly, it appears that the military is unable to contain the situation, the police is unable to contain the situation. You have the police officials, they said the people are rather policing them.
not that they can't contain the situation there. It appears some of their conduct, from what I said, do not inspire confidence in finding peace in the area. And that's why I want to call on the security operatives there to be mindful of their conduct. They should stay neutral. They should avoid any form of biases towards any of the groups, because we are one people with a common destiny, and that should be the general treatment for all and sundry. So I'm of the view that our conduct must be checked as security operatives, especially when we are assigned to make sure that we work to de-escalate tension in the area.
The president said the Otumfuo will resume the mediation process, hopefully this week. We know that in alternative dispute resolution, the first point of call is mediation. Do you think this will bring a lasting solution?
Yes, I think yes, because I think Otumfuo, the wise king, has a demonstrable record when it comes to adjudicating a chieftaincy dispute in this country. He has the record to show, especially if you look at what he did for people of Yendi, backbone issues, and now there's absolute peace in the area. So we must trust Otumfuo's mediation process. What I'm calling for is unalloyed cooperation from both parties. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. I am here with you. I can hear you. I think there was a sound that got mixed up with yours, but we do apologize.
Yeah, so I expect the both factions to demonstrate unalloyed cooperation as far as the Otumfuo mediation process is concerned, so that we'll be able to find a lasting peace to the good people of Boko.
Beyond the Otumfuo mediation process, what should be the posturing of government?
I think the government, and truth be told, Lily, the NDC must accept that they were reckless and irresponsible with Boko matters during the electioneering campaign.
Okay.
But yes, in fact, if you look at the statement made by the current president, from what I said, it was needless and unwarranted. And if I were the president, I would apologize whilst the mediation process is ongoing, because nobody can find peace in Boko as far as our posture and conduct smacks of double standard and hypocrisy. So I would call on the current administration to be fair and sincere to all parties involved.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. That's Collins Owusu-Amankwa. He's a security analyst and the former member of parliament for Menchia North in the Ashanti region. Now, the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs has issued a passionate call for an end to the protracted conflict in Boku, which continues to claim lives and disrupt daily life in the area. In a press statement, the chiefs expressed deep concern over the violence, describing the situation as tragic and unacceptable. The House condemned the persistent hostilities, noting the heavy toll the conflict has taken on the people of Boku in terms of lives lost, destruction of property, and social and economic stagnation. They are urging all parties involved to cease fire and embrace peaceful dialogue. They call on the government to step up efforts towards restoring law and order in the area, while urging traditional authorities, religious leaders, civil society groups, and the media to support peace-building initiatives. Now, in a show of solidarity and joint commitment to national peace and stability, The Chief of Defence Staff, Major General William Ajapong, has paid an official working visit to the Ghana Police Service headquarters here in Accra. The visits are the invitation of the Inspector General of Police, Christian GHOne, who comes at a time of heightened security concerns following renewed clashes in Boku. The two security chiefs had a closed-door meeting together with top-ranking officers from both the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service. Though details of the discussion remain undisclosed, sources say the meeting focused on deepening operational collaboration, intelligence sharing, and coordinated responses to emerging security threats across the country, particularly in conflict-prone zones of Boko. Recent clashes in the Upper East Region town have resulted in casualties, destruction of police property, killing of security officers, and growing community unrest. Ghana Armed Forces and the police have since intensified joint patrols in that area. Meanwhile, Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Mohammed, is urging the IGP, Christian GHOne, to be cautious in his utterances regarding the violent clashes in Boku. The IGP, who was in the enclave on Friday, 11th April 2025, following recent renewed clashes, promised the youth recruitment into the police service on the condition that he embrace peace. However, in an interview earlier on GH Today, Mohammed urged the IGP to be careful what he says in connection with Boko, while calling for a collaborative effort to end the age-old conflicts in that region.
Let's not let it look like recruiting people into the police service or the security agency is a rehabilitation center. Misbehave, we'll put you in. Let's talk them out. Let them understand. No, you see, there are several meanings you have to put into things. That's why I'm saying that I don't want to comment so much, but I just want to caution, because that I believe statements most of that are made. It looks like it's okay recruiting them. All the police officers who are in there are not put in there for rehabilitation. Not at all. Okay, they end it. Most of them end it. Most of them has distinguished themselves. I know the IGP. The IGP is a superman when it comes to intelligence.
That's right.
He has trained people that I know who have unraveled a lot of security situations in the north. Sure. But in commenting on matters, all of us, not just him, we have to be very careful. Look, one word from us here can put Boko back on fire. Exactly. So we have to be very careful in the statements that we make when we get the opportunity to sit on national televisions or even meet people. Our statements matter. It meant it destroyed.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Ashaiman, Ernest Nogbe, believes the IGP's recruitment comment has been taken out of context. He further stated that the issue of Boko has become an issue of national security and must be treated with urgency.
The issue of Boko is a national security matter.
And I said that this morning, yes.
And we need to tackle it with that kind of sincerity and also urgency. Yesterday, I heard 2 police officers were shot dead. Once again, police officers who were in Mufti. My good people of Boko should know that you can only develop when there's peace. Without peace, there will not be any development. And if we want to embrace development, if we want to make sure that our community, the Boko community develops, then all the youth must lay down their arms so that at the end of the day, you see, the IGP was there and he made a comment and people took him out of context. That is how I see it, out of context. You know, drastic actions demands drastic measures. Sure. When this particular insecurity has been with us for a very long time, and you have an IGP or you have a government who wants to solve it, nib it in the bud, they must bring out some drastic measures to solve it. So when the IGP said, lay down your tools, we'll consider you into the security services, or let's say the police service, he's just trying to appeal.
Moving on, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, the PURC, has announced an upward adjustment in electricity and water tariffs by 14.75% and 4.02% respectively for the first and second quarters of 2025, effective May 3. The Commission cites key factors influencing this increment, including efforts to settle 50% of the outstanding revenue of 976 million accrued from the last 3 quarters of 2024. Additionally, PRC notes that the combined effects of the cedi-dollar exchange rate and inflation have necessitated the upward adjustment. According to the Commission, utility companies, like other businesses, require periodic tariff reviews to remain operational. Joining us on phone is Dr. Eric Obute. He's Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at PURC. Thank you very much for joining us still morning. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. I trust you're doing well. Well, I am a consumer. Today I am doing well, but from May 3, I may not be singing the same song. Because tell me why I'm being asked to pay for a debt which had nothing to do with me, when already I'm being burdened with other costs.
Thank you very much. And I'm also a consumer, you know that.
Right.
I do consume, and I pay electricity bill and I pay water bill as well.
Mm-hmm.
So do my commissioners. The commissioners also pay water bill and they pay electricity bill.
Mm-hmm.
And not fun for the to be reviewing the tariffs upwards, but necessity. That's what necessitates that we should review the tariffs, whether upwards or downwards. Well, just as you stated, those 4 factors actually made us to adjust the tariffs upward marginally, and also the debt that was accumulated in the previous quarters. Mm-hmm. The debt has to do with all of us. You know, we do have something we call the under recovery. In case, let's say, we use 12 cedis to the dollar for the tariffs, and on the open market, or they go in and they get it for 14 cedis to the dollar, obviously there is a shortfall of 2 cedis. And that 2 cedis, if you multiply it over the amount of quantity of electricity that is transmitted, there's obviously a debt. And the debt was not accumulated in 1 quarter. It's a rolling debt. Just as we took on board 50% of this debt now, the other 50% will be rolled over the subsequent quarters of 2025. So you see, there's always a debt to be clawed back. If we want to claw back everything at a go, the tariffs should have been much higher than what it is. But in the wisdom of the commissioners, he decided that, look, let's claw back 50% of the debt and spread the other 50% over the subsequent quarters of 2025.
But many consumers are crying over the percentage increase. Many say this is too much, considering the harsh economic situation that we find ourselves in, owing to other factors like inconsistent water flows and intermittent power cuts. Are these concerns not legitimate? Something that you may want to consider?
You see, in the case of power outages, there are planned maintenance and then there's unplanned maintenance. For the planned maintenance, they will always inform us, and they do inform the commission, and they do inform the consumers as well. For unplanned maintenances, if let's say there's a rainfall and there's a storm, a tree falls on the line, and a particular section of the community is taken out, it's unplanned. They don't have foreknowledge of that, so they cannot inform us. But where it's supposed to be planned and they don't inform us, the commission actually takes notice of that and penalizes them for that. Now, there's something we call CAID. We call the Consumer Average Interruption Duration Index. That if your light goes out, for how long should it go out before you get the light back again? In the metro communities, 8 hours cumulative over the year. In districts, it's supposed to be 12 hours, and the rural areas is supposed to be 24 hours. But my last check on all these parameters, they met all these parameters. They were compliant on these parameters. It is true that some of the areas go off at a point in time, but those are pockets that the commission is dealing with them, because they do have some issues with transformers and change of life. They are changing those ones. And same thing applies to Ghana Water, so they are changing some of their life. So for which reason some people do not have to speak.
Dr. Bute, are you there? Hello, Dr. Bute?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, great. I lost you there momentarily.
Oh, sorry. It's because I'm on the road, that's why.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So just as I was saying, we do have issues which the commission is actually taking care of, but those are pockets and not generalized issues.
But the concerns of consumers as well, are they not legitimate? Is this something the PRC will want to consider? We are in harsh economic situations, and then business owners are also complaining. They say this may lead to job losses. The AGI, for instance, has said that.
Yes, the commission has actually taken on board all those things. Because just as I told you, for instance, if we were to push through 100% of the debt that is outstanding of 976 million, the tariff should have been way out of, it should have been more than 20%. It's in the region of 24% there. But because of the economic conditions and taking into consideration the well-being of consumers, the commissioners decided only 50% of that. In fact, if there were to be no debt at all, we were supposed to have just done the tariffs on a quarterly basis. The tariff should have gone up by about 6%. However, because we need to claw back part of the tariff, part of the debt that is outstanding, the tariff has to be hiked to about 14.75%, leaving a 50% of the debt that will have to be spread over the rest of the quarters of the year. So the mission and the well-being of consumers.
Dr. Bute, I am losing you, but I want to find out, does that mean we are likely to pay more in the third and fourth quarters? Because if you say that it was actually supposed to go up higher than what we are going to pay, but you had to adjust it, does it mean that we're going to pay more in the third and fourth quarters?
That I cannot speak of as of now, because it all depends on the 4 factors I spoke to you about. If we get there and those factors actually improve, definitely the tariff would go down. But in case those factors do not improve, then to a very large extent, you might see a slight upward review, or it might remain the same. But as we speak now, I cannot speak for the next quarter. Until we get there, we'll know exactly what those factors are turning out to be.
Okay, thank you very much for speaking to us. That's Dr. Eric Obute. He's Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, the PURC. Now, let's engage Apiakusi Adomako. He's West Africa Director of CATS International on the same subject. Now, thank you very much for speaking to us once again. I spoke to you last week, Mr. Adomako. PURC says it has accrued debt, and so consumers must bear the brunt. We are paying 14% for electricity, 4% for water. Dr. Obute says if we are not able to pay off our debt, likely we may pay more or even less in the third and fourth quarters. What are your reactions to this?
Good afternoon to you and your viewers of GHOne. I think PURC and the utility companies, they always look at the low-hanging fruit. The debts that have overridden the utility sectors are largely as a result of inefficiencies in the system. For the past 2 weeks, we've been hearing that ECG procured some equipment that were left at the port and attracted demurrage and finally found themselves in the warehouses of some businesses that they have decided to sell them as scrap. All of these things go to impact on the financial viability of the ECG. But I've not heard PURCs coming up on this matter and enforce and telling ECG to come clean on it, and even delaying the implementation of this new tariff until we get full and better particulars of those things involved. So I think that the low-hanging fruit of tariffs increase is not the best. Whilst I understand that as a country we should be able to pay for the cost of consumption that we consume,
the cost of electricity that we consume so that the utility companies can be, business will be viable. However, if this level of corrupt practices and under-dealings in the energy sector are not addressed, I think that consumers will be paying money and they will go into the pocket of corrupt managers at the utility companies. That is number one. Number two, the PRC in their release talk about debt and that we need to pay debt. I don't know the genesis of those debts, but as far as I know, we have COVID-19 recovery levy, and most of these debts arose from the COVID-19 subsidies and freebies that the previous administration gave. Now, instead of government applying some part of the COVID-19 levy to subsidize, to clear some of the ECG debt, their COVID-19 levy is still kept in our tax handles, and yet they are coming to us, telling us to pay money to clear the outstanding debt. I think that this is not fair to Ghanaian consumers.
For speaking to us. That's Apia Kusi Adomako. He's West Africa Director for CATS International. But many people out there in the public think otherwise. They think that they are being overly burdened. Let's find out their thoughts on our various social media pages. And Amakwa joins me with those thoughts and comments. And what are people saying? Are they ready to pay?
Well, Lily, with the debt that PRC is saying of 976 million, they're saying that we should bear the brunt. Here is what we had to say. We moved to Facebook. YBM say, so we customers are supposed to pay for ECG recklessness and mismanagement. You also have Frim Black, e-levy and soccer bet tax in disguise. Abdul Razak says we're used to the every quarter adjustment, whether it be up or down. Ebeto Da says e-levy and betting tax out, electricity and water tariff adjustment in, both teams to score. We have Daniel here. Please and please, Mr. President Mahama, Ghanaians gave you that overwhelming mandate to reduce our suffering. A lot of inefficiency in the energy sector, especially ECG. So please, you cannot burden us the more for ineffectiveness of ministers, board chairmen and others. We also have, oh boy, we will pay, don't worry. Okay. Then we have our last comment here on Facebook. Kwame says they took e-levy out and we were happy. So we should not be angry that at the government for increasing electricity. In governance, you either increase or reduce. We can't make everyone happy. While others are happy, others too will suffer. That is how life is. Well, prepare that on the 3rd of May, you will get a bill with almost 15% extra on your electricity and just over 4% on your water. I'm sorry about that. My name is Anama Akwa. Lily, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Anama Akwa, for those thoughts and comments on our various social media pages. Please always keep them coming. We do appreciate them. Now, President John Dramani Mahama is expected to release names of nominees for the position of Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives for Eastern and other regions. This is brewing tension within NDC in the Eastern region. In Ekwapim South, for instance, some branch NDC executives and supporters are warning of dire consequences should Solomon Ntowi, CEO of Golden Riverside Limited, be nominated as the Municipal Chief Executive. The group accuses Member of Parliament Laurentia GHOne of fighting against their favorite Paul Osai Ufei, who contested her in the NDC primaries due to political insecurity. Our correspondent Kujo Ansa has more.
Right here in Ekwapim South Municipality, Eastern Region, some executives and grassroots members of the NDC are up in arms over alleged attempts to impose Solomon into Wiafe, an export and agribusinessman, as the next municipal chief executive. They claim Mr. Wiafe was disqualified during the Eastern Regional vetting process. According to them, 3 other candidates, including Paul Ofe, a former constituency vice chairman, and parliamentary aspirants, were shortlisted and forwarded to the national level for consideration.
20 of our party faithfuls do pick the forms. They went for regional vetting. After the regional vetting, 3 people were shortlisted for the final vetting at Accra. Last week we went there and another person was added to it. That person was initially part of the 20 who were disqualified from the other regional vetting. But we went there and we realized he was there. We picked some intel that it was the MP who went back to lobby for him to be added, for him to join the final 3 for the vetting.
The party faithfuls are pointing fingers at the MP for the area, Laurentia GHOne, accusing her of lobbying behind the scene to push Mr. Solomon Wiafe's nomination.
Everybody's calling for the Paul Osanyo Fair to be our MC. People think he would be contesting the current MP, who is Honorable Laurentia, coming primary. So people think he would be contesting her when the need arises or when the chance comes. But then I don't think we should be thinking that way.
Yesterday, young chairman, national chairman, I say don't get here. Yes, Sharon, young, a brief. Young young, and you say, Debbie, young Pessia, my young so young Pessia, Kenya.
The aggrieved supporters say they will resist any attempt to impose Mr. Wiaf and caution that any such move could lead to our party or put a vote in the future polls.
Paul the end in the fifty Mufrasa on Bruniba or had be a be able to work on any you will be able to work on Paul de so by able to work on a hands much.
Only Pine and Atana, why a ground had die enemies, Obi to say Paul. Into some of the poor my young eye, Pena Obia Yenimino, our near shame my young Waha, a crapum high and Casa answered their name so Simesini, and no Simesini. What do my young high in the ring to me, Yehusa? For
GHOne TV and Star FM, GHOne Sam.
Now let's engage Alfred J. He's the president of the National Association of Local Authorities of Ghana. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, madam. How are you?
I'm doing well. I trust you're doing well too.
I'm good.
Right. We know that MMDAs and by extension MMDCs are the primary agents of development in our communities. We are seeing chaos characterizing their nominations. Is this something that you're worried about?
Yes, as the NALAC president, I'm very, very worried about this situation. As you all know, with reference to Section 243, 1 and also of the Constitution, and also Section 20 of the Local Governance Act, it says the president shall appoint for each district a district chief executive with the prior approval of not less than 2/3 majority of members of assembly present and voting at that particular meeting. So, in a nutshell, the onus lies on the assembly members to vote or otherwise, okay, whoever is going to be the president's nominee. Recently, we are all aware about, the hiccups in terms of some members who are not at peace or are not happy with the nominee. To me, it is not the best. You see, the confirmation of MMDC is a constitutional process and not just a battleground for party rivalry. Okay, it is being guided by the article as I've enumerated earlier on. So to me, destruction, threats, intimidation at these meetings only undermines democracy and the peace that we all cherish as a nation. Yes, I understand that there may be some disagreement in certain nomination, which is normal. It is natural in every democratic system. But disagreement must be expressed through dialogue, not mayhem. Okay, we've witnessed at some places that party properties is being destroyed. It is not the best. You see, when we destabilize the confirmation process, we are not only punishing the nominee, we are punishing the community.
Right.
Okay, we are punishing the community. We are stalling development and weakening our institution. Madam, I'm an elected assembly member, okay, in Avino electoral area, and you see, the MMDCs or my mayor is the one who runs the day-to-day activities. Whatever, and I'm also the presiding member. Whatever policy that the assembly members come out with, it needs to be carried out by the MCE. Okay, so if we don't have the MCE, it creates a lot of problems. We are in the 4th month. We are in the 4th month now. Getting to the 5th month. So just imagine that we don't have an MMDC. It means that there is not going to be development in that particular district.
Right.
Yes, as I said earlier on, there might be one or two ICAs, but to me, it should be channeled through the proper way. I mean, every party will have structures for our grievances. Okay, every party will have ways and means to resolve issues. But when it happened that way, I mean, it is not the best for us as a nation.
Okay. Mr. Ajay, thank you very much. That's Alfred Asiedu Ajay. He is the president of NALAC. This is Newsroom. I'm back shortly after this with us. Stay tuned in. You're welcome back. This is Newsroom here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. The National Health Insurance Authority says it is expanding the free dialysis initiative to more health facilities across the 16 regions of Ghana. Currently, there are only 20 health facilities offering free dialysis to end-stage renal patients. Chief Executive Officer of the NHIA, Dr. Victor Asari-Bampo, tells GHOne News the vision of the government is to make the initiative more accessible to patients.
Looked at. If you remember, up until now, from last year, the previous government started the free dialysis program, and I think there are 20 centers where dialysis is offered free of charge. What we intend to do with that is to expand it, to make it more sustained, to make it go nationwide, so that instead of it depending on, some kind of funds that are put in every year, it becomes like other diseases under the NHIS, under the scheme.
That's some good news there. Let's now bring you the latest in business. Now, leading insurance provider Star Assurance has marked its 40th anniversary celebration with an inspiring and spirit-filled Thanksgiving service. The service held at the Platinum Place, the company's headquarters, brought together management, staff, partners and others in a joyous celebration, singing and dancing to the glory of God for His mercy and grace over the past 4 decades.
Ajinkwe Delivering a speech, Chief Executive Officer Boatimamba for Iwa urged staff members to renew their commitment to work, noting that every effort they put into their work should be seen as a divine assignment.
I don't just see my colleagues or employees. I see destiny helpers, and I want to thank God for each and every one of you. This anniversary is a reminder that the good work that God has started, He is definitely going to finish it. I want to encourage each and every one of you. Don't see yourself as just part of the company. See yourself as a part of a divine assignment. Every file that you touch, every customer that you serve, every decision that you make, it is all ministry unto God.
On her part, Chief Operating Officer Adelaide Ajiman Boachi highlighted that while many insurance companies have either shut down.
Now, former Chief Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana and current CEO of GHOne Ketewa Company Limited, Dr. Charles Nyaba, has cast doubt on the government's Feed Ghana program, questioning its ability to resolve the key challenges facing farmers and ensure a smoother farming process. Dr. Nyaba's skepticism partly stems from the outcomes of the previous administration's Planting for Food and Jobs program, which he argues failed to address the core issues in the agricultural sector.
Nana Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana imports almost $400 million worth of chicken every year. This we all must be ashamed of. Our poultry farm to table project, popularly referred to as the Nkukon Kitinkiti program, which is going to be implemented in collaboration with the Poultry Farmers Association, will support hatcheries, feed mills, veterinary services, and poultry processing centers. This year, we're going to register 50 anchor farmers who will be supported to produce 4 million beds, which will be equivalent to 10,000 metric tons of chicken. Additionally, a supplementary program would involve the registration of.
Let's now speak to Dr. Charles Nyaba himself and find out why the skepticism about the Feed Ghana program. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your colleagues.
Now, Dr. Nyaba, you have expressed doubt about the Feed Ghana program, citing the previous administration's Planting for Food and Jobs program. Now, this is different from that. President Mohammed says this is akin to the days of the 1970s, where we had Operation Feed Yourself, and so schools will be encouraged to go back to school farms, homes will be encouraged to do backyard farming. Is this not justification enough?
There was a component of that program that supported farmers with starter livestock, poultry birds. The aim was that these farmers will produce and scale up to other farmers, to include other farmers. Next 2 months, we are going to start production. The rains have started coming. If you look at the middle belt and the southern belt, farmers have already planted. What have you seen? Nothing yet. Last year, when the drought spell hit northern part of the country, Brian Chapon, that was the former agriculture minister, came out with a fantastic program, which we all applauded, to support farmers with fertilizers, with seeds, with market access. The concept was very good. When it came to the implementation, the inputs were left in the hands of politicians, and farmers never got. So if this year we actually want to transform the poultry sector, we need to look at the fundamental problems that led to near collapse of the poultry sector, which feed cost was about 70% of total cost of poultry production. Currently, what are we doing to bring the cost of soya beans production down, the cost of maize production down to increase supply? The program is not clear as to how interventions are going to reach farmers who are producing these grains for production of poultry feed. When you come to Akupo and Kitenkete, I'm a local farmer. I grew up in a farming community from the community. Our problem is not about day-old chicks. The problem has to do with farmers are able to brew their own day-old chicks, but because of lack of veterinary services and medications, they lost about 80% of those day-old chicks before they even reach a stage where we can sell them or we can consume them.
Okay, I'm sure the Agric Minister will have answers to all of these concerns that you have. But for now, we'll have to leave it here. We'll engage the Agric Minister subsequently, and then I'm sure I will come back to you for more on that. That's Dr. Charles Nyaba. He is the former Executive Director for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Let's now bring you the latest in sports.
To produce.
Now, many thanks for joining me here on Sports Brief. I am Monica Bukari. Let's begin with the Ghana Premier League, where Gold Stars FC battled their way to join top of the Premier League table after a 1-0 win over Young Apostles FC at home on Sunday. Alex Esso scored the decisive goal on the stroke of the first half to separate the two teams at the Dunes Park. Kumase Asante Kotoko dropped points at home after being held to 1-1 by Bichem United at the Babayara Sports Stadium in Kumase on Sunday. Now, the Porcupine Warriors missed the chance to extend their lead at the top of the table after sharing the spoils in an entertaining match day 27 of the Ghana Premier League. But meanwhile, the Premier League title took a push, little knock after Hearts of Oak shared spoils with Vision FC in a 1-1 game. However, Legon Cities continued their slide towards the Premier League relegation zone as FC Salmatex 1996 secured a comfortable victory against
this stadium, but it's not easy for us because of some things I don't want to say here. But when we are playing,
no, I'm not. We had a game plan, and the game plan could have worked easily. We created more chances than Hearts of Oak. We should have taken the chances. We didn't. Hearts came into this game with only one game plan to play route one, try to win the first and second ball, get into the attacking phase 3.
Away from the Ghana Premier League, in the La Liga, Real Madrid have kept pace with Barcelona at the top of the Liga table after picking up a crucial 1-0 victory. Cards at Mendizora. Now, Kylian Mbappe was sent off for the first time in his Real Madrid career, but his teammates held on to defeat Alaves and moved back to within 4 points of La Liga leaders Barcelona. The incident occurred 4 minutes after Eduardo Camavinga gave Real Madrid the lead with a curling left-footed strike from just outside the penalty area. Mbappe was initially shown a yellow card for catching Antonio Blanco high on the shin with a late challenge, but that was upgraded to red card after the video assistant referee VAR invited referee Cesar Soto Grado to watch the incident again on the pitch side monitor. Now, the good news is Kylian Mbappe has apologized to the Alaves player. So, I mean, he's sorry. It happens in football. I believe it's the pressure.
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. But that's it for sports. My name is Monica Bukari.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Updates. Let's now bring in some international news before we take leave of you. At least 50 people were killed in weekend attacks in Congo's conflict-battered east, authorities said this Saturday. That's it for the news. I am Lily Mohammed. For more news updates, kindly log on to starfm.com